Welcome back to the website. Matt Allen here. Well, now we've talked about the mindset behind catching some of these big fish, how to throw the swim bait, where to throw the swim bait. There are a couple more topics I want to cover, but the first one I want to cover right now is fish care. I've taught you how to catch them. Now what are you going to do with them? How are you going to get them back into the water safely? There are some simple things you can do. First off, if you don't have to net them, don't net them. Nets are so rough on those big fish. Remember, a giant bass, it's like catching, they're a grandparent. They're not young, they're not fast moving, well that's not always true, but they're elderly fish. They're more sensitive than smaller fish are, they're more susceptible to injury, they have a lot of weight that they're carrying around, so it's very simple for them to get hurt. So you have to treat them that way. So like I said, if you don't have to net them, don't net them, lip them. Then support their bellies. You never just want to hold them by the lip if you don't have to. But if you do, it's very easy to keep them safe if they're vertical. The worst thing you can do is hold a big bass and then turn their jaw to try and get them to lay horizontally. That will break their jaw almost every time. So you want to let them hang vertically or hold their belly and their jaw so that they're horizontal. Once you get them into the boat, everybody's excited. You know, you just caught a giant fish, you're shaking, you don't know what to do. The very best thing you can do is get them into your live well if you're in a boat. If you're on shore, you just need to hold them in the water, get your camera and your scale ready, then get them out of the water, photograph quickly. So let's talk about somebody on the shore first. You keep the fish in the water, you get your stuff ready. If you have a friend, that's the best thing. If you don't, find a way to prop up your camera. But the most important thing is that the fish stays in the water as much as possible. You don't want them out of the water for very long at all. I don't like to have them out for more than like 30 or 40 seconds at a time. So you get your camera set up, you get your timer going, then you pull your fish out of the water, hold them for the camera, take a picture, maybe take one more, get that fish back in the water. Keep them in the water as much as possible. They need to be able to breathe. They're already exhausted. You've already hauled them out of their environment. So just give them that break, let them breathe. Weigh them, and then as soon as everything is good, immediately work with that fish for a second, and then release them. As fast as you can go. Now in a boat, very, very similar. As soon as you get that fish in the boat, put them in the live well. If you have a live well. I start filling mine the moment I get on the boat. I know for some people that's superstitious and they don't want to do it. They think they won't catch fish, but let's face it, you want to keep these fish healthy. So as soon as I launch my boat, I usually fill up my live wells right then and there so that if I get a big one, I can immediately put her in water. You get her in water, then get your camera set up, get your scales out, same thing. Get her out of the live well, photograph, put her back in the live well. Let her breathe some more. Get her out, weigh her, put her back in the live well, and then get her out and release her as soon as possible. You want to turn that fish back into the water right away. Handle them as little as possible. You don't want to touch those fish. They have a protective coating on them, and every time you touch them, you're taking some of that coating off. So handle them as minimally as possible. You know, don't do the sticking beer cans down their throat photos and all that crazy stuff people do. Just treat them with respect. Do everything as quickly and effectively as possible, and then turn those fish back right away. A lot of people don't understand why it's so important to turn those fish back. You know, I track the fish I catch. A lot of my friends track the fish they catch, and you'd be surprised. In lakes that are 20 and 30 miles long, we catch the same big fish over and over and over and over again as the years go by. If one of us had kept that fish in the beginning, we'd have caught a lot less double digits overall because they really are repeats. There are less big fish for the most part than people think there are. So it's very important to treat them properly, get them back in the water and release them, not only so that some future person can catch them, but so that you can catch them again when they weigh a pound or 2 or 5 pounds more. So important. So I just wanted to talk to you about that very briefly, how to treat those fish with respect so that you can catch them again in the future. Have a great day.